I love Naples. I love Collier County. And over the course of my many years here, I've had the incredible experience to understand what makes us the best place in America to live. And let me tell you, it's not just our beaches. Far from it, actually. It's our people, and it's our partnerships. And none of it's happened by accident. I've seen it time and time again. The more people learn about what's happening in our community, the more they come to the realization, this is not happening where I come from. Collier is special. Collier is unique. That's why I'm bringing you Community Matters. Think of this as your Collier County 101. I'm your guide, introducing you to the people and the resources that I think that you should know through short, real conversations so that you feel more empowered and ready to engage in ways that will positively impact your life, your family, your careers, and this beautiful place that we get to call home. Because community matters. Hello and welcome to Community Matters. I'm Amanda Pearson, and today it is my honor to introduce Paul Hiltz, CEO of NCH, now Naples Comprehensive Health. Welcome.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for being here. I always like to start with letting people know a little bit more about you, and there's so much to share here. Also about NCH. So NCH is a nonprofit advanced community healthcare system serving Southwest Florida with a comprehensive routine, specialty, and critical care. But you, since joining in 2019, you've led the organization through great periods of remarkable growth and transformation, expanding access to advanced medical services, strengthening clinical quality, and helping position NCH as one of the nation's top performing community healthcare systems. Wow. Under your leadership, NCH has earned the recognition as one of Healthgrade's America's top 50 hospitals and established strategic partnerships with nationally recognized organizations to bring world-class orthopedic, pediatric, oncology, rehabilitation, and imaging services to Southwest Florida. You bring more than 30 years of healthcare leadership experience, having served in executive roles across the country just before coming to Naples. And in addition to leading NCH, you're also a Forbes author. Your recent book, Upheaval, Crafting a Culture and Managing Your Message Through a Crisis, draws on your experience in guiding organizations through times of change while maintaining trust and transparency. Is that right? Did I get that right?
What an introduction. I'm going to take you with me when I leave here and just do this time and again.
We'll take this show on the road.
So great. So I'm starting my 7th year here. 7th anniversary, but NCH is celebrating its 70th anniversary. So 70 years ago, a group of people in this town got together, bake sales, little fundraisers, and started a hospital, which has now turned into a $1 billion corporation. But we've never really lost the focus on taking care of this community. So it's an exciting place to be, an exciting time to be here.
Wow. Thank you for that fun fact. Love that. Speaking of just the founding of NCH, we have several healthcare systems here now, right? So that what once was just NCH has now grown to several healthcare systems, and each healthcare system has its own unique identity and own mission. But what do you think uniquely positions NCH at this point to serve Southwest Florida as it does?
So there's a couple things that really differentiate NCH. One of the things is, and we changed our name because of this, we changed from Naples Community Hospital. We still are a community healthcare system, but we changed it to Naples Comprehensive Health because we've become much bigger than a simple community hospital. We do very high sophisticated techniques in open heart surgery using minimally invasive techniques, catheter approach to replace valves, things that we just didn't do 10 years ago. We do high-end orthopedic care here now in partnership with HSS out of New York, which is the best orthopedic hospital in the country. So we do all kinds of high-tech imaging, interventional procedures, and that comprehensive name is key because now we can take care of people. They don't need to leave this community really for anything other than transplants. We pretty much do it all. We deliver babies, neurosurgery, cardiac surgery, orthopedics, and it's paying off for this community. And the community's responded by philanthropically supporting what we're doing to become a best-in-class health system.
It's such an exciting time for NCH. You know, you'd have to be living under a rock to not drive around town and see all that's happening. Even just physically, you can tell there's just so much going on, which actually leads me to my next question. As our community continues to grow, as it does, unfortunately, we can't close the gates to Naples as much as some people would like to. NCH has to continue to grow to meet those demands of the growing population and the specific needs that we have. So is there anything more that you can share on how this has occurred and maybe what more we can expect in the future?
Well, Amanda, it's neat that you recognize the growth. So since I've been here, NCH has doubled in size. So we were at $600 million of net revenue. We're now $1.2 billion of net revenue. More people are staying in town to be cared for than ever before, and that's something that I'm very proud of. We're now having people actually come in from Lee County, which never used to happen, and we're getting people from the other side of Florida showing up here. So our goal is to take care of the community in a way that people just don't need to leave. And one of our next big projects that we're collaborating with, it's not ours, but we're working with a group that's opening a medical school here because we know that the growth is going to put demands on our physician community. So we'll be training doctors right here. We'll be the principal training site for the new Osteopathic College of Medicine here in Naples. Very exciting. We continue to partner with various nursing schools and FGCU to fill a pipeline of young people that really want to take care of their fellow citizens here in Southwest Florida.
Wow, that is incredible. You know, I think when people who've been here for a long time have thought, oh, if you want good care, you need to go to New York or wherever. Long time ago. It's an old way of thinking because that's not the way it is. I mean, kudos to you specifically with the leadership and the growth that you've managed. That's so exciting because really who wants to travel to get the care that they need? Nobody.
Nobody. And you've been a part of it. I mean, back in your chamber days and leadership, Collier, and helping develop young people to become the next generation of leaders. So I love watching that piece of it. And I think that we've got a ton of growth coming into this region, and you don't need to leave. And really what's been interesting here, because of the community support, we've been able to attract some of the top doctors in America. They know what's going on here. They want to come here because we're creating a culture where doctors feel appreciated and can practice medicine in a way that they really enjoy taking care of patients. And that, to me, is the real fun of this. All
while living and thriving in Naples, right? So when it comes to some of our biggest healthcare challenges that face perhaps our specific community in Southwest Florida, what do you see that could be?
Well, it is, a growing population and an aging population. So a lot of what we are focused on right now, and this is true at the orthopedic hospital, the HSS at NCH, we do a lot of prevention. We do a lot of wellness and keeping people mobile so that they can have an active, healthy, enjoyable. We say our mission is to help people live a longer, healthier, and happier life. And so we're doing that in orthopedics. We're doing it in cardiology. Women's health has now become a big, big focus, as you and I have talked. So that's what's going to set us aside or set us apart from other health systems. We're going to try to keep people out of the hospital and keep people on the golf course, on the tennis courts, on the pickleball courts.
And volunteering in the community. I love that. And that's so true. That is one aspect of Southwest Florida is our aging population. And I love the work that NCH is doing to keep people healthy and out of the hospital, which might seem counterintuitive perhaps, but very exciting. When it comes to our population is also very diverse in perhaps socioeconomic status, right? So I don't think a lot of people, when they think of Naples, they don't think of our underserved population or maybe those that might not be able to afford it, perhaps. But Collier County is very large. It's we often say it's like the size of the state of Delaware, and our population is incredibly diverse. So when it comes to that diverse population, how is NCH working to support the needs of those that are underserved in this community?
I love the question. So one of the foundational elements of our inception has been to take care of everybody, regardless of ability to pay. We continue to live up to that mission. We do about $40 million of charity care a year, if you can believe that. So there's many women and children that need, in fact, that number is actually much higher than 40. It's probably closer to 80. But that's something that we'll continue to do. And we do it especially for the population that's in the east of here, not downtown Naples, but we have offices now out there. We have begun to partner with the Health Network of Southwest Florida, a fantastic organization, the Neighborhood Health Clinic, other private doctors. And I think those partnerships will strengthen our ability to take care of everybody here, regardless of ability to pay.
Absolutely. And I love to see the growth happening east, because our county is so physically large, it's important to have those spaces to meet people where they're at. So that's huge. I was just driving by it the other day, actually.
Well, and here's a news flash. Our next hospital will be out in Ave Maria. So we've begun, we have the land. We've begun with an urgent care center. We'll end up with a freestanding ED, but ultimately we'll be building a hospital so those people won't have to drive downtown or to the North Naples campus. So exciting.
Very exciting. And also, for anyone, I talk about, so I had that county manager on recently. You're talking about traffic. And obviously, the more services that you can have east where development is happening, the less of our roads are impacted and the more people can live and work where they're at in this very expansive county of ours. So that's great news. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think you're right. First. So in fact, a couple of weeks ago, I spent the day riding in the county EMS, the ambulance, to get a sense of what that means for emergency services. So ambulances that have to drive all the way from Ave Maria in here takes a lot of time, keeps them off the street, keeps them from helping other patients. So part of our whole initiative is to keep people, as you said, close to where they live.
That's huge. That's fantastic news. I love to hear that. Well, you touched on it a little bit, but this all goes hand in hand with workforce and talent needs. And I don't know any employer that isn't having workforce and talent shortages nationally, but even in our area as well. So is there anything happening at NCH to address that critical need?
Well, it's a great question. We had a donor who stepped up and actually has paid for us to begin the planning to do workforce housing. So we have land available over here near Arthrex, and we have plans being developed right now to put together about 250 apartments for employees that would be subsidized. So more to come on that this year. But yes, the plans are underway because we know that we need to attract workers with housing that they can afford.
It's so true. Housing comes up in every single interview that I have because it doesn't not impact any employer or institution. So wow, again, 250, that's a huge chunk of housing that you'll be able to provide. Kudos on that. Exciting. You've already touched a little bit on partnerships, but you've talked about with Healthcare Network and Neighborhood Health Clinic. Are there any other partnerships that you specifically are proud of that NCH has got to address both the needs of NCH and our community?
We've got a few. and I'll be taking a trip to the worldwide headquarters of Siemens, which is the big imaging company. They do CAT scans, MRIs, plain films. But we've become a real key strategic partner of Siemens, so we get some of the latest and greatest imaging technology here for our community that we never had access to. We're doing some things in the cardiac world with some of the big companies like Medtronics, Boston Scientific, and others. We now have, believe it or not, over 50 clinical trials being performed right here in little old Naples at NCH. And we'll be doing more of that kind of work and those partnerships will keep us on the cutting edge of healthcare. So the one with HSS is big. Northwestern in Chicago, we've partnered with them to begin the development of a cancer program. In fact, I can tell you and your viewers here that we've recruited an oncologist out of the Mayo Clinic to lead our cancer initiative. So that's step one. He'll start actually in 2 weeks. And he'll be here to begin building a team. And we're really excited about what we can do there.
Oh, that's huge. That's great news. I love to hear everything you're saying. I'm just so fulfilled to hear about all of the exciting growth that's happening. Healthcare needs impact every single person. And I can think of, every time you mention something that you guys are working on, I think of somebody in my life that could benefit from this. So I'm just so happy to hear all of that. Well, when it comes to patient experience, look, I just had my first true NCH experience. 12 weeks ago today,
Wow.
I was delivering, my baby, and had such an incredible experience at NCH. So thank you and the team for all of that. Wonderful care. Wow. But patient experience is something that people really have high expectations about. So is there anything happening at NCH when it comes specifically to that topic?
A couple of things in terms of patient experience. Probably the biggest is that once we complete that downtown edition of the Rooney Heart Institute, that will transition NCH downtown to an all private room hospital. If there's one thing that patients have asked us for, it's we want private rooms. So they are going to have all private rooms starting in about a year from now. That's the biggest initiative. The second one was we spend a lot of time right now with our teams measuring patient satisfaction, doing focus groups, finding out. We've just made a big improvement to our, believe it or not, this is a big one, in the dietary area. We now have one of the healthiest menus of a hospital in the United States. It's very much moving to a plant-based, healthy eating cafeteria for all the patients. So that's another piece. And now we're trying to smooth out the registration process by using artificial intelligence and a lot of new technology to make it easier for people to get to their doctor, which can always be a challenge, and make access a key part of our future strategy.
I am, as a patient, I've been experiencing so much. I love the technology. I can just get onto my phone, go into apps, get the things that I need, get the messages from doctors, message doctors. Speaking of food, I was taking pictures of my food and sending it to my family, like, look what I'm eating today. This isn't hospital food. And I'm plant-based myself, so I love to hear that you guys are working on that as well. It's back to the blue zones, right?
It is, and the creature comforts are really important when you're in, as you know, for being in a hospital. You have to be well taken care of, and you have to feel cared for and cared about.
Man, and I even had a little visitor from one of their golden retriever dogs. Mm-hmm. That was so sweet as well. So. Can't say enough about my own personal experience. I can only imagine, the great care that everyone else is experiencing themselves. When it comes to maybe people who are excited about all of what you're talking about today and want to help or get involved or do something to support this great work that NCH is doing for our community, is there anything that you would share?
I love the question. How can people get involved? A couple different ways. I talked about the hospital was founded by volunteers. We now have over 600 volunteers, and it's growing. We'd like to get that number to 1,000. So if you're interested in volunteering, we have tons of opportunities to put people to work as a volunteer. The other big area, of course, is philanthropy. We raise a ton of philanthropic support here. It's a very generous community, and any gift really helps. Doesn't matter how big, how small. And you were just talking about women's care. We have had now some great donors who've stepped up with lead gifts to get us involved in expanding services for women and children. Because as you know, across the country, many OB units are shutting down. We're going in the exact opposite direction. We're going to expand women's services and take great care of kids with our partnership with Nicholas Children's out of Miami. And so great things ahead for women and children in this region.
I love that. And I'll tell you, even just today, I had such a phenomenal experience, and we were in the NICU as well. My husband's taking our extra diapers of size 1 that we no longer need, and I hear that the labor and delivery can use them. So I hope people will think about how important the mission of NCH is, and any little thing you can do, from financial donation, I'm not telling people to donate diapers, but think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Think more about how NCH fits into your life. And wow, growing to 1,000 volunteers. I know some people in my life that could, engage with that as well. There's more to Naples than just golf, right?
And there is a lot more.
Exactly, and you guys could use that support. So, Paul, thank you so much for your time today. Our community is stronger because of your leadership and all of the growth that's happening at NCH. So appreciate your time, appreciate all that you're doing for everybody. And for those that are listening today, I hope that you'll find a way to engage, because community matters.